Yeah, they got those audio files on hand. It's like, how many times does he gotta go woo?
Let you know what we're up against.
So JD, the one guy who you didn't want help from is the one guy who can actually help? Oh, come on. That's gotta be ironic.
Yeah, you know what? That one is ironic.
Ha! I knew it!
You gotta love Baird though, like, Baird's amazing. Hey friends, how are you?
There's a lot of these assholes between you and that dam.
Gee, thanks, Uncle Baird.
Hey, you got it.
Ah, shit! Carrier!
Remember when this thing was a problem? Not anymore.
I think it's safe to say these industrial sample guns work.
Yeah, I could get used to this. Science, by that gate!
And speaking of gates, Baird, we're blocked.
Those mechs have remote targeting systems. Pay what you want, we blow it up.
Ha! Sweet!
Rockets outgoing. They built that one?
I have no idea what's shooting us.
Hit it with an airstrike!
Alright, calling it an airstrike.
Roger that. Stand by. Gates down.
Nice! Alright, we're moving on.
It honestly, God, does not surprise me. You had to bring Baird and Cole back. Like, you can't bring one without the other in this game. Too iconic.
Missiles away.
Weird thing.
Oh, that was a clean shot. Snatcher up ahead. We're positive no one lives here anymore, right?
Wait the river. Bye, friends.
Good news and bad news, kids. Bad news is, a lot of swarm are coming after you.
Yeah, no shit. And the good news?
The good news is, your dad's very, very proud of you.
Yeah. Okay, look, I'm gonna kill some more monsters.
I'm gonna keep blowing up bridges because I don't
Tell
like.
Baird I'm not giving his mech back.
Hey, don't even think about it.
Nobody can lift this thing but me. Yeah, bitch. I have a giant mech vehicle. How does that make you feel?
Hey, more snatches up ahead.
We've got this. Here are them for you.
Oh
Time
my
on
god.
target. Here they come. Oh, it's done.
Okay,
Back
looks
off.
like the only way out of here is
If
through that wall.
I'm sure, I'm pretty sure you can't get down with these things, so I gotta be really careful at times. Can I destroy this? Oh, that's poor.
I'm requesting an airstrike.
Airstrike incoming.
Come on, over this bridge.
I also feel like the damage for these things aren't like really that well done. Like it feels like I take more damage than what I feel like I should.
Incoming!
Like against a Brumak, yeah, it makes sense.
Oh, great, now we got a swarm.
Yeah, but this guy is taking us all on his own side. Missiles are away.
Give me that leg. Give me that leg. like those shots are not coming out of my gun, they're coming out of my face.
Firing now.
It's down, but it's not dead yet.
Down my way. I got this one. I'm gonna do to you what Kong did to a T-Rex. Oh,
All right,
sorry.
Swarmax down.
Sorry,
Let's get outta here.
I should have said what Kong did.
But how?
I should have said what Kong did to a T-Rex.
We'll make you an exit.
I like the sound of that.
I should have said what Kong did to a T-Rex. I'm gonna lie, that's actually a game I would love to go back and play.
You guys all right down there?
Well, so far so good. Hey, any idea what's up ahead?
Seen a lot of bad guys. Big ones too.
Big, huh? You know, I think we can handle big.
That's the story of my life.
Gotta go, gotta go, gotta go, gotta fight a bitch, gotta go.
James, the dam is just ahead.
The hell is there a boat here? Is that a bridge? Neato.
Hey, more snatchers.
Ah, shit, it's carrier.
I love missiles.
Heads up, more carriers. Snatchers too.
You know, if you fire your gun enough, it eventually kills them. I love logic.
All right, we're moving up. And notice, I did not say we're all clear.
I'm sure Dell appreciates that.
Ah, we're blocked. We're gonna need an airstrike.
Yeah, just like old times, baby.
Damn it, that wheel's gonna be a problem.
Yeah, we're just a bit taller than the last time we were here.
But maybe we go through it.
Rockets away.
Knock it down.
Got him.
I mean, the snatchers aren't that
Okay,
dangerous.
dam's just ahead. Let's clear that wheel.
It's just if we have a large number of them. That's the one thing I'll say for this. Like, I like the idea of the giant robots, but at the same time, I really question the giant robots. Bitch. Yeah.
Okay, we're at the dam. Now we just have to find a way through.
Missiles are away.
Another Swarmax!
Firing now. Rockets away.
Well, they're going up top. Where do I go? Oh, I go through the dam. That's convenient.
James, the cave. She's in there.
You're sure?
Yes, that's the heart of the network.
Then let's go get her.
Whatever's coming our way isn't going to stop us. Right? Hey, kid, I'm getting some serious seismic readings up here.
What the hell?
Start shooting.
Yeah, we got him!
Hey, incoming.
Got it.
They're back!
Now keep pushing ahead.
Are you sure about that, Marcus? You have serious seismic activity.
Got him.
Extremely serious seismic activity occurring here. Like the goddamn thing is just pissed. It's like God's pissed or something.
Really use some advice here.
Here they come!
Tentacles down. Now's your chance. Tear that damn thing off.
Give me it. Give me it. Back, bitch.
Missiles away!
That's entertaining.
Dodge the quill! It's all the left!
Another tentacle down.
Give me it. I want it. Give me.
Here they come!
You missed the one on that side, bitch.
All right, another one's down.
Give me it back.
Firing now!
Don't let the quill hit you.
It's all the left!
Last one's down.
I want you on the tentacle, bitch. Ah. Yeah, try to get away with it. As soon as you do it, I'm gonna miss it. Yeah, more tentacles. Good luck, everybody else.
You weakened it. He's not dead yet. Watch it, it's firing. We got incoming. We're hit. Damn it. We're going down. Hang on to something. Red, down. All right. Everyone, get out. We're okay. But we got swarm down here to deal with. Just finish that damn thing off.
Gotcha.
Hey, Baird, what's the the Raven's condition? Main rotor's okay. Tail's going. Fine. I just got an idea.
bypass. This time we use the razor blades. Does everything in this game involve a chainsaw or just tearing something apart with a damn thing?
Let's go get her.
Oh my God. You knew, didn't you?
Yes. But I didn't know we'd find this.
If I'm released, I'll die. They've seen to that. Katie, cut me loose. Please.
Reyna, please.
JD,
You can't ask her to...
don't. Just let me say goodbye.
Okay.
Take it.
Aww.
Again. No. It's okay.
This isn't over. So get her somewhere safe.
I don't need protection.
I know. You need time. Trust me. I've been there.
He's not wrong. Between Anya and
She
Dawn.
wanted you to have that.
It was my grandmother's. I never knew her.
It's beautiful.
No, it ain't. No, it ain't. Years 5 told me anything. And no, it ain't. Alright, I think that's it. Uncle!
So where the hell is everybody?
Yeah, with it, it's so funny. Of course he makes it out. That bastard had a knife, and he just carves. He don't care. Alright, but yeah, that's the end of Gears 4. I am done with Gears of War finally. I'm done with the series. I'm done. Again, not playing Judgment. I hate it. It's literally the worst Gears out of all of them. Like, the additions they added to the campaign and stuff, like adding different features, cool, awesome, but, infuriating and stupid, and I hate it. It makes me so angry. So yeah, I mean, that's my personal opinion. I'm not a big fan of Judgment. I'm never playing Judgment again. I have this somewhere. I could throw it into my console, but no. Not a fan of it. It's really bad. The originals are so much better. But as I was saying, yeah. In terms of an overall campaign for Gears of War 4, it's not bad. As you guys can sit there and see, like, I'm okay with a good chunk of it. It's actually a pretty fun campaign. Yeah, I wish they didn't do what they did with the other ones, which is between Gears 1 and Gears 2, you miss some information because there's a little bit of a time lapse between what went on. Gears 2 to Gears 3, same thing. There was a little bit of a time lapse that went on, so you missed some good things. It would have been interesting to have been into. I forget how you get access to that information. I think they either posted it through books or something, like through the lore, to get to that point. And then Judgment came out, and it was, I think, after Gears 3, if I remember correctly. Judgment, in my opinion, is the worst of all these Gears games. I would rather play Gears of War 1 on Insane than play Judgment on normal for story. Like, as much as I could get pissed at Gears 1, I would never play this one on Insane. That's why I say Gears 1. This one's horrible. This is probably the worst Gears of War 4 Insane mode that I will ever play in my entire freaking life on this planet. They did a horrible job with Insane. And I can say that proudly, because I played it on Insane, and unless they've updated it, which I'd never played it on Insane if they ever updated it, which is, when you play Gears of War 4 on Insane, it does the exact same thing Gears 1 used to do, which is you don't get downed even with a co-op player with you. So if you get shot and get killed, you die instantly. There was almost no reaction times during the prologue that allowed me to do anything, and I hated it. I might have got through maybe part of the raid bit, but the whole prologue is horrific on Insane. I don't even see a completion for it, so I never did do it. And I played the entire game in co-op. Oh my god, I never did play this on... I remember playing the prologue. I got infuriated. You couldn't beat the beginning bit. I'm not going to show it to you. If you have Gears of War 4, you've played it on Insane, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you can beat this whole game on Insane, you are a freaking god and you deserved everything you get. I will not play it ever. It's so bad. Like, the prologue is basically, you can get shot by a Marska. Let's say you have a gun and you're shooting. You can shoot your gun, and by the time you fire your rounds off, one of the AI with a Mars cut can fire twice and pretty much kill you. And that is one shot to hit you. The second shot hits you as you're trying to get back in cover and you die from it. I found that out and I hated this game's insane mode. Now, does that only affect the prologue? I don't know. Maybe it doesn't affect the rest of the game. But it was such a bad feature that it made me just despise this game's insane mode and I never will play it. Campaign wise, the campaign actually isn't that bad now that I replayed it. Is it better than 3? No. This one, I feel like they weakened it a little bit. Mainly in the fact of the features of having 4-player co-op. That's what made Gears of War 3 a bit better in my opinion. In terms of overall like gameplay and stuff. Like, what made Gears of War 3 a much better game was the 4-player co-op. Then they introduced that arcade mode, which was also a nice addition. It changed the game up a little bit to make it a little bit more challenging or a little bit more fun. And it prolonged the campaign's life. Even on the harder difficulties, it definitely prolonged its life. It was a lot of fun. But in terms of overall story, I'd say Gears of War 4... Well, actually, I can't just go off story. I gotta go with the whole game, which is... Act 1 ain't bad. I kind of like the idea of being with like the outsiders and stuff, but I don't know. It's a little boring. Act 2, it's pretty fun, entertaining. I like it. The only thing is, like, if I'm going into Act 1, we go through the prologue. I like the prologue. They gave an excuse to bring Dawn back. You can kind of get into the Pendulum Wars, which is something I wish Gears would do, which would be a lot of fun, but they never will do it. Then you get into the raid. I like the introduction of the wind flares and stuff. I really do. I like the wind flare when it's being used wisely, but they kind of repeat the same concepts multiple times, which is wind flare, fight through enemies, and then all of a sudden it goes from that to using that whatever the hell it is, that stupid electrical packing device. I can't remember what the hell it's called. Somebody will yell at me in the contents. Giant square box you can build things with. I mean, that thing's okay. I mean, I don't really like the idea of holding out with it. That, and they have Jin immediately accuse the outsiders of kidnapping her people. That's where I'm questionable at. Like, why does she immediately go to the outsiders group that JD, Dell, and Kait are in, when there's more than just their group of outsiders? Same thing. She has access to these robots. She has access to planes, helicopters, soldiers. You're telling me these guys aren't going out and like reconning this? She doesn't know anything about the swarm? Are you kidding me? They left no surveillance equipment to watch the hives in case something occurred. Like, I really question the fact that the COG would just go, yeah, that we buried all these bodies. There's obviously nothing going to happen with them in the future, so let's just bury them and forget about them. It's like, why are we doing that? You should have somebody watching this. You should have plans set up in case these guys come back. You don't know what these stupid things are. You can't destroy them. So if you can't destroy them, why the hell are you just not watching them? Because then if they would have had people watching it, then yeah, they would have had a warning, because they would have seen some of these things popping and going off, and they would have known that, hey, you know what, there is locust happening. Now, in terms of all the different locusts available, I don't understand how a lot of them form. Like, you have the Scions, which were sort of the original locust, which I'm assuming were going around grabbing people, putting them in these pods. But they never really get into how the pods are formed. That's one thing that I even question, like, how the hell do the pods form? Because like, who makes all this like hive stuff? Is it the Snatchers? Because then where did the Snatchers come from? Because it'd have to be part of what we're getting mutated through those cocoons. But my thing is, you're basically telling me a fully live locust is forming these stupid Snatchers, which is something I wish they could get into, and the formation of it. Like, they never really show how that happens, or the research behind it, which would be cool. Even Gears 5 doesn't get into it all that much. I wish they did. And before I get too much off topic, but as I said, like, then you deal with Jin. She doesn't know anything about it somehow. You go through the entire building, then you fight with the replicator, whatever hell it is, over at the Outsider's base, and everybody goes inside this building, and it's locked with a giant lock, but it's made out of wood. I'm sorry, but what idiot in their right mind thinks that a wooden door is going to hold back these many people? They literally can just throw those giant balls at a high rate of speed and just smash through that door. It's not that hard. That they only send one wave, really? Like one giant wave of freaking DBs, and that's all Jin's sending. She doesn't care anymore after that. Oh, well, our casualties are too high. You're building a bunch of freaking robots. I don't think you're worried about that much. Especially when we get into Act 2, which I forgot to say, in Act 1 I do like the idea of everybody getting snatched though. That was really freaking cool. That I liked because it was different. It was really cool. Like Oscar gets his hand broken and it looked weird. Reina gets snatched, all the kids get snatched, all the people in the village get snatched, and it's like it's unexpected and it's cool. But at the same time, I don't know. I just find it really weird that just JD, Dell, and Kait are left behind. But you're telling me the Locusts aren't searching for everybody? They're not looking for everybody? They're not leaving people behind just in case there's a few like stragglers to grab? I mean, I don't know. That's a little bit weird. Then you get into Act 2. I like the idea of going back and seeing Marcus at the mansion, and it's, I guess it's Anya's family's mansion. But my thing is, how has this mansion survived all the wind flares? It has survived the Locust attack. Well, actually, it survived the Pendulum Wars. It survived E-Day. It survived all those wind flares until now. And this is the end result. I wish there was more time to be there. That's why I said I hate the fact that we have such a, like a 20-something year gap between, just over probably 20, probably 30 year gap between Gears 3 and then Gears 4. There's so much stuff in between that I would have loved the juicy details on that I didn't get. At least in the game. I don't know if there's like an extended stuff you can find online that gets more into it, but I feel like when you play a game, they shouldn't keep out details. They should keep the details in so we know what the hell's going on. Like some flashbacks maybe going back then that would have been kind of cool, but they never did it. I definitely thought maybe that was something they were going to do, but in the end they didn't, as I said. The fact that Jin follows JD and Dell to this point with Kait, just destroying everything, destroys Marcus's entire mansion, never sits there and just talks with each other, just immediately gets into combat with each other. It's like, again, why are you chasing them? If you were back at the stupid village, you would see that everybody's gone. I mean, where the hell did the entire village go overnight? Why would they leave the fabricator? Oh yeah, it was a fabricator. Why would they leave that behind if that's what their main goal was? How the hell do you suddenly know that they're at Marcus's place and then you just go full on assault? Like, there's things there that I don't like. That you go through the entire mission with them destroying the place, everything. They get the cheesy thing with the one plane flying around and it flies low enough that we can blow it up. Like, are you kidding me? You have pretty much an AC-130 that can do firebomb campaigns. Are you telling me you're really gonna let that thing fly low enough that we can shoot it with freaking pistols and assault rifles? My ass. So that's another cheesy thing that I didn't like. Act 3 is kind of cool. I like the introduction of finally getting into the swarm. The Snatcher comes in, grabs Marcus. You don't know what happens to him, but then our three characters somehow are able to escape the other three Snatchers, because obviously the one that was hiding and using itself as bait to let the second one grab Marcus, obviously they had no plans for Kait, Dell, and frickin' JD in that situation, which is pretty stupid. Which, as I said before, is really irritating. So I don't know why it's set up that way too. I like the idea of going down inside the place too, and like dealing with all that, and like getting in and trying to save Marcus. But I find it really weird they never bring another Snatcher in this. Why did they only snatch Marcus? They want the humans to turn them into Juvies, which turn into Locusts, which in turn fights the Cog. They never sent any more Snatchers after Kait, Dell, or JD. Now, had they done something where, I don't know, maybe as you play, like each person gets captured, and it's up to like JD to be the main character to get through it all, then that would have been cool. That, or maybe even like Kate do it. That would have been different. It would have been cool. Because all of a sudden you would have had less and less characters, and you got to go find everybody to rescue them. That would have been an interesting and different thing to have done. Like, let's say Kate or JD are able to like cut their way out of the thing that grabs them or something, and all of one of the snatchers, and then like you're both separated, but you have to go through the map. That would have been cool, but they didn't do that. I mean, that would have really made the campaign like unique. But then I don't know. They went the way they went with. What else? They used the fabricator again, which is randomly stationed on this stupid rig, and then we go down with it. Like, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of that either. What else? I like the idea of being here at this dam. The dam's actually kind of cool because it's pre-emotion, and I like the idea behind that. So that makes it even more cool. But again, like I think at the end of Act 3, that's when we're like using those stupid cables to get up. That's a little bit above and beyond what I can believe. Like, it looks cool, it seems neat, but it's just like, do you honestly think infinite ammo pistols are the way to have gone with that? You could have done anything. You chose infinite ammo pistols on cables to get out of a situation. That one's a little bit far-fetched for me. And again, it's another one of those situations where it's supposed to be gears, it's supposed to be over the top, fun and entertaining, but I don't know. I feel like you're pushing it. Act 4, we go through the entire situation of getting through this cog facility, the dam, and then you finally duke it out with the guy who took Reyna. I like the idea of fighting him. I just hate the fact that they chose a power plant, the Transformers, and that to fight him. And the Brumac. I like the Swarmac coming back. That was neat. But they take away like its only defenses from all the other Swarmacs, which was those blisters it has that we shoot. They take away the armor ability to all the other ones after this, so it made me question why the hell they even put it on this one. Like it's like this wasn't needed. Like, you added something that none of the other ones get, which is kind of weird. The fact that you kind of get an idea of like the cog trying to like guard this dam, and like this whole company of soldiers that were pretty much given the objective of holding it, the goal of it, ended up dying, and and Marcus never made it. But again, it's another one of those situations where you missed out on that info, so it's kind of just cool to find out about it compared to actually like being in it. That would have been really cool. And then you get into Act 5, which, that's weird. This says this one only has 2 acts online, or 2 chapters, but it has 4. That's weird. But as I was saying, Chapter 4 is also another weird one. Or Chapter 5, I mean. I like the idea of, like, suddenly, I think this was the one where Jen comes back, and she's like, "Hey, how you guys doing? You finally gonna tell us stuff?" And she's like, and she acts like she still doesn't know anything. Like, how are you this blind? Like, you shouldn't be this blind. Then you go through, and you have to fight the DBs again. It's like, Jin just got shot in the back of the head, her robot did, with one of those quills from a pouncer. Her DBs are fighting the swarm. You're telling me none of those robots she couldn't configure them to not attack us at that point? Baird couldn't do it at that point, nobody could do it at that point. Which is another stupid thing that I'm not a big fan of. Same time, I would have to say that the idea behind Marcus going in that relay station, and it took him almost 5 minutes to figure out, not even 5 minutes, it took him 2 minutes to basically run through, give a call to Baird, come back out with a fabricator. That was a little bit too quick. What they should have did, which was the way I would have done it, which is JD, Kate, and Dell stay outside. Marcus just drags out a fabricator, says, "No, I got to go back in and do it. You guys hold off. I'll go do the call and then come back out with you guys." That would have made more sense, and I could have respected it more. But he walked in for not even 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and magically already has the call, comes out with a fabricator. No. Unless he knows it, I doubt he knows exactly where he's going in that building either, so it'd take more than 2 or 3 minutes. The holdout there is a little bit more fun. They give you a little bit more money, and I love that turret. That turret was a godsend. I love it. And that's where I get into, like, then we get into the robots. The robots were a nice addition. I like being able to fight in the giant mech things. I just feel like the damage modifier is really on the bad side. Like, if I'm fighting the Swarmak, fine, I could see more damage. But the carriers and the snatchers have a very unrealistic way of damage. Like, the carriers just hit you, and all of a sudden, like, I was almost in red and almost died a couple times because, like, you don't judge that the damage is going to be that high. Same thing with the snatchers. Snatchers do a fair bit more damage than I would give them credit for. Like, the quills I could see doing severe damage to the player, but we have all this armor plating, so you would figure the armor plating would be able to take more hits than that. But again, that's just me. Then they have that giant beast thing underground. Like, where the hell is this thing at the whole time? Why the hell is this thing just magically guarding the heart where Rain is at? Really weird, really strange. I would not have went with that, but they had to put a giant animal in somewhere to kill because this is Gears 4. Why the hell wouldn't we? It's like playing. It's like what? It's like Gears of War 1. What was the biggest thing we fought? Brumak, and then Rom. Biggest things you kill. Gears 2, they give you the Leviathan. Yeah, they give you a little bit more Gears too. What is it? Leviathan, Riftworm, group of Corpsers, and Brumaks. And then you kill the giant mutated Brumak. Yeah, that sounds about right. Gears 3, again, Leviathans, stuff like that. Like, and then the giant bug thing that the Queen had. So I guess it kind of falls into that, but I don't know. I just feel like that was like an unneeded thing. Like, I don't know, and I don't feel like it'd be that stupid just to sit there and keep fighting you for that long when it knows it's getting its ass kicked. It would run away and go back underground. At least that's what I would assume it would do, but it never does that, so it kind of takes away the idea of it being able to hide down there. Trying to see if there's anything else. I think that's about it. I think that's all I really wanted to get into. I mean, the campaign's not bad. It's better than Judgment. I'd probably give the campaign a 6. It's above average for me. It has its low points, it has its high points. I don't know. And I like the introduction to new characters too. It's not the worst thing in the world. Second thing you get into is versus mode. So if we get into this, I forget all the different. Let me host a private one. I'll see what I can get for all the different things. So you have deathmatch, dodgeball, arms race, escalation, guardian, execution, king of the hill, warzone, and then 2v2 nashers. 2v2 nashers used to be the big thing, like me and my friends. It's kind of like the way Call of Duty Modern Warfare did its thing, which is a nice addition, and it was really challenging at times, but it was really just who was the bigger dicks. Warzone, most people know what that is. It's just regular fighting. You get downed, you cannot self-revive. King of the Hill, I don't think I played that much. Escalation, score enough points to win or capture all 3 rings to win instantly. Okay, so it's basically just objective holdings. I think Escalation might have replaced the other version of it, which was, I think you hold a ring and gather points. It was kind of like King of the Hill. Guardian, basically one person's the leader of the group, you protect them and try to protect until you die. Execution's the one where you can actually self-revive and people can't kill you from far away unless I think they have a pistol. Arms race, I don't think. Every 3 kills changes your team's weapons. The team to get 3 kills with the last weapon will win. Okay, so this is one where you just use weapons until you run out of them. Yeah, I remember this one. This one's actually kind of funny. Dodgeball, limit the enemy team to win. Every kill will bring back a dead teammate. You know what, I think I played a little bit of dodgeball, but I wasn't a big fan of it. And the team deathmatch is basically, I think, the same thing Gears 3 had, which is you get so many lives, you can fight through the game. After you do so much, people can't revive after a while. Then you kind of see where I have my character selected at. This game's horde mode is a lot more of a bitch, and I was very disappointed in it compared to Gears 3. I played a lot of Gears 3's horde. I had fun with it. This one, though, is a bit on the disappointing side, and I have to say this with a passion. Gears 4's horde is horrible, and it's based off of 2 realities. One, its difficulty modifier is so much more difficult, harder, and unrealistic to do than Gears 3. I remember playing this, and I never played it on Insane, not even for the fun of it, because I knew it was impossible. Because I knew how bad the campaign was, I knew how bad the multiplayer was going to be for it. Hardcore, I never played it on. Normal, I tried to play it on. And the problem with normal is this. So, I think if I remember right, if players leave, you get access to either AI or nobody replaces them. And it makes it difficult. But the issue you run into with Horde mode is this. Every time somebody who's a human player leaves, it makes your job that much more difficult, and I despise it for that exact freaking reason. It is the worst thing ever in the world. If you play it on Gears 5 and people leave, you can do it with roughly 3 players, maybe even 2. I'd be willing to push it to 2. It's hard, but you could do it in Gears 5. Gears 4, you can't. Mainly because there's eventually an enemy you get in this game that is not killable, and it is so stupid. It's one of the bosses that come in. As a player, you can't kill it. Either one, your weapons are too weak and there's too many enemies to kill, so you basically are forced to run around the map until you eventually reach a point where they can't get to you, and you kill all the side ones, which has a huge impact on what you're dealing with. But it's extremely challenging when, like, let's say a Snatcher's there. It can one-hit you if it hits you with its tail, so you're kind of screwed. When it throws its vomit on you, it causes damage, and it's a bitch to deal with, so it brings you out of cover. You're also adding damage modifiers that increase your damage, and health modifiers that increases the health of the AI, making them that much harder to kill. So even if you do play it, it's still a bitch to deal with all the other enemies. And since you're playing online with multiplayer with random freaking people sometimes their internet can crash, which involves them not being able to come back. Or, the more important thing is, they leave on purpose and you could never finish the game out, because people would leave too soon and the weapons you needed to win, you'd lose access to sometimes. Let's say you have a player that's getting all the kills, all the points. He just leaves. When you get to wave 50, you don't have access to turns. You don't have access to barriers. You lose everything you need, and it's impossible to play on. In comparison, I can play Gears 5 and do semi-decent even by myself. It's in Horde. I mean, I get AI. They're not great, but they're better than nothing. And as far as I know, there was never a punishment for people for just leave randomly during a Horde match. Unless he switched it and I never paid attention to it and I forget. So that made Horde mode almost impossible to play on. I hated it because of that reason. Casual was a little bit better. When you get around somewhere around between wave 30, it's around sometime around wave 30 or after wave 30, that's when the game actually does get more of a challenge on casual difficulty. If you think you can get between wave 40 and wave 50 easily, you'd be mistaken. That's where it really ramps up, is around those end stages, and that's why I usually played it more on casual, because if somebody left, it didn't hurt as much. You could do the damn thing on casual with 2 players. I did it before. It's a hell of a challenge. It's fun, but it is a goddamn challenge. In comparison to normal, it was almost impossible. Casual, you could do it with 2 people. It's within reason. But as I said, the biggest issue was just people leaving and nothing to replace them with. It was horrible. In terms of customization, I can kind of show you guys this. So, like, they gave you like a whole giant group of emblems, which was really cool. Different stuff, you know, like the stuff that was real easy. I didn't really like the fact that they had access to this is when they introduced their scrapping, which was their currency system. I wasn't a big fan of it. I thought it was kind of stupid. In terms of like character models and the such, like this is all the character models. Like I played Gears 5. I think I showed you guys. They haven't added too much since then. But like, look at all the different character models. Anya has Civilian Anya, Day of the Dead, E-Day, Tomorrow. They have V-Day Anya, Vintage, and then they added some UIR people, which was kind of cool. Helmless UIR, like they gave male, female characters for it. Then they gave you Baird, and there's like, what, 3 or 4 or 5 different versions of Baird. This was a big popular one people liked. Bernie, which is V-Day Bernie, which is kind of cool. They brought Anthony in this. They also made a zombie version of him. They also brought in Ben back, and then Zombie Ben. Although I think this one's not as good as it could be. This one, I don't know, does he have like the issues with his chest cavity? I can't really tell from this. It looks like he has some damage, but I feel like that'd be a lot worse. Like, they should have did that a little bit more. Then you got Clayton. They bring Gary Carmine, but I don't think he has any relation to the other Carmines. I could be wrong. I forget. But they also bring a zombie version of him in. They have the different gears you can play as. V-Day gears, V-Day medic. Corpse version with the bones. That one's terrifying. Same thing. Encog Marine. That one I don't remember. V-Day, another medic. Then they have all like the different versions of Cole. Oh my god, Cole got old. Jesus, I miss old Cole. That's the Cole I love. Thrashball Cole, yeah, I got my boy back. But as I was saying, like, they have all these different character models and stuff, which makes this one a little bit better in my opinion. That's why I'm not a big fan of Gears 5. They're not on this level of like adding different character models. There's always a character model somebody likes out of this. Like, let's say like JD. Here is Lieutenant Fenix. So that's what, like, some people would like the more militarized style. I think this was the JD I ended up liking the most. I just like the dark colors. They just look better on him, at least in my opinion. Outsider, stuff like that, vintage, and then I think I ended up just choosing playing as Kait half the time anymore, because I don't know, I don't know, I just preferred her character overall. Like, JD's just got annoying. Kait I could just play and just be fine with. Marcus is another person I would like to have had, but I never unlocked any armors for him. Otherwise I'd probably be playing as like classic Marcus or armored Marcus, whatever one's floated at the time if I had access to it. Uncle's a fun one, or they bring back Kim, but they rename him to Min, so I'm assuming that's his first. I'm assuming that's his first name. That or his last name. I don't know. I forget what I know his first name. I know he gets called Kim all the time, so I'm surprised they call him Min. Zombie version of him. Giant hole in his chest from that sword. They bring back Uncle and everything. They have like all these different versions of him. They look hilarious. I don't know why they added so many versions of him, especially in like luchador outfits and stuff. Maybe it's just because it's him and everybody thinks it's hilarious. They even brought Reina in this, but that was the difference between that one and this one. I guess there's like a couple cloth of differences. It's just weird. Then they brought Sam back. She has dress uniform. V-Day Sam, which you never see, and they actually brought Ty back, which was kind of cool too. Although it sucks you never get to see him past that because he died. As I said, they had all these customizations. Same thing like with the Swarm and stuff. Like, look at all the differences. Look at how much stuff is here. They had the old Locust, the new Locust, Lambent Locust, like Lambent Grenadiers. Like, they had everything that made this one a hell of a lot better than the original. Or Gears 5. Like, the new one just doesn't come close to the character list to play as. Like, this one is so much better in terms of customization, and it has a better all, like, good stuff with it. Even Queen Mira is here. Like, they don't, like, they just haven't had time, and I don't know if they ever will. Even the weapons. Like, look at all the weapons. These are all the weapon skins, for Christ's sakes. Like, I added a ton of them. Like, again, same one that I would always pick. If it ain't, like, I don't think I ever kept the custom one on there again. I think I ended up, they had some weird ones though. Like, I usually just pick like the regular Lancer, or I would pick this one. That's, again, the one I'd pick. I'm not a big fan of a lot of them. Each weapon pretty much gets like the same amount of like customization. Some might get maybe like one or two less, but it just depends. But as I said, there's not too many more differences beyond that, and in terms of inventory, I think it also gets in the bounties, class skills, different characters you've unlocked, weapon skins. I think the war journal basically tells you how long you've played in this, so as you guys can sit there and see, I've spent 12 hours in the campaign, including the one I just finished. Versus time, I've only spent 2 days in total on this. Not a big fan of it. And about just over an hour in horde mode, which I don't know if that's accurate or not. I feel like I spent more time than that. Not too much in ranked. Social's not bad. Ooh, I had a 3.89 KD. I'm a god. Where am I? How many matches did I play? Does it say how many matches I've played? Matches played. Team Deathmatch 34 matches 134. Warzone. Really? That's how many times I won in these? I feel like that's fake news. I feel like I've lost. I had to have lost more than that. That doesn't sound right. I know I've lost matches. That's not accurate. Loadout weapon kills. Yeah, Lancer's got most of it. Nasher's second most. Hammer burst. That's about right. It's all basic weapons. Jesus. Oh my god. What the hell was I doing in this game? Even all this stuff, like, you guys can sit there and see, I found a lot of it. I found a good chunk of stuff. Like that's just me. But as I said, I mean, I said I would rank the campaign itself at a 6. It's above average. It's better than Judgment. Judgment, I give it about a 5. That's what I said. It's better than Judgment in my opinion. They also add a fair bit of stuff. The difficulty counter is up. I do enjoy the challenge, but there are limitations to it that I don't like. And as a whole, if I included versus mode, horde mode, all the customization options that they give you that you can unlock as time goes on, I'd probably give the game a solid. I'd probably give it around a 7. The story mode, the campaign itself is a 6, but for an overall campaign rate or overall game rating, I'd say it's about a 7. It's above average. There's a lot of versus modes that keep people entertained. The horde mode, if you can find a group of people or a group of friends, it could be a really good horde mode. Harder difficulties, probably not, but the most I could see people doing is hardcore. If you can beat it on insane with a group of friends, you have probably spent a lot more time than I would give you credit for playing this stupid game. I mean, to get to that stage, you've had to spend a lot of freaking time playing Gears. Like, I can go play Gears 5 and play horde mode casually now, and it's fun. This one is hardcore to the max, and I do not like it as much. That, and I actually lost interest, I think if I remember correctly, in versus mode because of the crossplay. People on PC have a much better advantage overall compared to the console players. And I was playing it on console because I didn't have access to my PC at the time. And I can say this with pride, the difference in skill and just reaction time is unbelievable compared to the other. Like, you guys can't even begin to fathom the differences. Because it was that bad of a difference. Like, I hope this stated. Yeah, it looks like it stayed 1080. Thank God. Okay, I forgot to check that. I was always gonna check it, but yeah, because if you were playing against console players, they basically did the same thing you did, which was simplistic like moves and everything. When this game came out when PC was cross-playable, what ended up happening is everybody was a dick to each other, and like people would have better reaction times because they were using a mouse. So it didn't have much of a dead zone, and people could like on a whim just turn and kill somebody. The cover system was badly abused, from what I remember. People would literally slide in and out of cover, shooting their shotguns at me, and there was nothing I could do because they were on PC and I couldn't do it. So the versus mode, I mean, I'm saying it's available, and if you didn't get bad games like that, it was fun. So again, 7's where I'm at. It's not as good as Gears 3, it's not as good as Gears 2, it's not as good as Gears 1. Judgment is horrible, and it's either a 4 or a 5 for me. I remember that game, I hated it. It was so bad, especially when I got to the end and it was such a melodramatic boss. He was built up to be nothing, and it was bad. Real bad. But as I said, that's my rating for this. I'd give it a solid 7. If you're in for the campaign only and you don't want to play any multiplayer, which at this point in time, that's all been moved on, I'd say it's a 6. I mean, you might be able to play some of the old versus modes. There might be a couple people still playing. Horde, I'm assuming there's nobody playing at this point, because if there is anybody playing it, that is a freaking miracle in of itself. And they're pretty much moving everything to Gears 5. So yeah, that's it. That's Gears 4. Next time we come back, I don't know when I'm going to get Resident Evil 3 done. I might do RE3 first, depending on how things work out. Because at this point in time, when you guys are watching this, Walking Dead's still getting posted. I have Halo that I gotta post. I have Gears 3 done. I have Tom Clancy stuff done that I wanted to post for a while because it's me and my friends. I have Gears of War 4 done, and then I'm hopefully gonna have Resident Evil 3 done. The hopes and prayers is that I can do at least what I'm planning on is finish Walking Dead, post it, or post all the Walking Dead episodes, post all the Halo episodes, and by that point in time, maybe, just maybe, I might have Resident Evil 3 done. If I rush and fly through it, because if I'm playing it, I'm gonna be cautious. I'm probably gonna die a fair bit of times. There's some stuff that I hear is good. There's some things I hear that's bad for the campaign. I haven't gotten to those yet. As I said, I've only played a little bit of it, and I'm playing it on easy. I am flying through the campaign, and the only reason I stopped now is because I'm like, I think Nemesis just started popping back for me, and I kind of wanted to play it, but at the same time, I'm like, I know I don't like this Nemesis compared to their originals as much. Like, the original is actually pretty freaking good, and I'd rather play it, to be honest. Just playing it, like, it's not a bad thing, it's just, I don't know. I'm gonna have to give a hell of an opinion on it. Like, I don't remember, I had to rewatch RE2. I'd have to watch the ending to see if I gave it a rating, because if I had to have given either a 9 or a 10. I don't remember which. I know RE2 got a high rating by me. I love it. But RE3 is getting a little iffy. A little bit iffy. So please like, subscribe, leave a comment down below. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, hopefully Resident Evil 3. If not, I'll see if I can get a filler in for a little bit. So see you guys next time. Thanks.